Hey guys, and welcome back to Bayonetta. It's time for Chapter 6, and while this one isn't as hard as Chapter 5, Grace and Glory can still be, let's just say their presence is very clearly felt throughout parts of this, so don't let your guard down just yet.
Yeah, definitely don't, but yeah, Chapter 6 is a lot easier of a ride than Chapter 5. Like, it feels almost like a reprieve.
An apology for Chapter 5.
Yeah. But still, we're going to get two of the most useful, well, one of the most useful techniques in the game. Another one which is quite helpful and actually necessary to getting some things later on. And that is Bat Within and Crow Within. Bat Within allows you to effectively extend the length of your dodge, in the sense of if you... normally you go into witch time if you press dodge at the last minute before you get hit. If you manage to press dodge at the instant you get hit, you go into the Bat Within, and you automatically go into witch time. So effectively it's a bit of a safety net. So where you would have been getting hit before, you now can still dodge. And obviously that is an absolute godsend in battle. Crow Within is more useful in terms of getting over big gaps, so it's not as amazing as Bat Within, but it's still very helpful.
Maybe I will go back to previous chapters before I saunter onwards to like Chapter 9 and onwards, because I need to build up some halos, and I think the Onyx Roses can wait a bit. Those two moves seem a bit more helpful overall.
Yeah, I mean, annoyingly I'm not going to be using the Onyx Roses as much until later on, but you will see them used in combination with a very specific weapon which we get in Chapter 9, which is definitely the toughest weapon to get, because it's hidden all over the place. And yeah, this Umbran Tears of Blood is a nightmare.
Oh, I'm noticing you're kicking up like devilish roses as you run, a very clear Okami reference.
Well, of course, it's only right.
I fucking love Kamiya, man. He has such respect for the other Capcom franchises.
Well, mostly for his own franchises.
I realised it the second it finished coming out of my mouth.
But I mean, it's one of the things that I've always loved about Kamiya, is that he always pays homage to his previous games. So, I mean, effectively, it's what formed part of my dissertation, or one of my dissertations at university, was intertextuality throughout Kamiya's games, but also throwing in Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy and Chrétien de Troyes' medieval romances. Because I sort of felt that they were all relatively similar in terms of how they use referencing other titles written by them.
Thank
it's
God.
A whole... Yeah, thank God I got that finally. I just wanted to show you the pain and the suffering of getting that bloody thing, because it's a nightmare.
Oh, behave. You were just being lazy and didn't want to edit around it.
Well, I mean, there's that, but also it's a tough one to edit around, because I was never kind of stood in the same place to be able to go for it, but still.
Oh, well.
Back to my dissertation, which is evidently a really intriguing subject of conversation that you really couldn't have cared less about.
Go on.
So yeah, I went along this whole idea of creators basically using intertextuality as a sort of game in itself, like a game across texts, and ended up coming up with all sorts, like, so using intertextuality, intratextuality, and all sorts. And I felt really happy and proud of that dissertation, and then, yeah, the examiners really didn't like it and gave it 2-2. I think it's because it had video games in it, and they don't like video games. So...
What a bunch of old farts who don't get the glory of computer games.
I know. Because, I mean, really, I mean, it's kind of hilarious, but, I actually ended up using Bayonetta as an example in, I think it was my personal statement, in saying sort of an instance of me using video games to then further my interest in literature, because if it were not for Bayonetta, I would not have read Dante's Divine Comedy. Because Bayonetta's entire structure is based on the Divine Comedy of Paradiso, Inferno, Purgatorio, etc. And so that led me to then go and read the Divine Comedy, which was very interesting, very long, and is definitely better read with the notes explaining who everybody is, but it's really fascinating.
Man, you tore these guys apart. Was that all down to, like, Bat Within?
It certainly helps. Like, Bat Within is an absolute godsend. And you'll see that in general, I'm going to be getting hit less than I was in Chapter 5, because I do have just that extra little bit of a safety net.
Uh-huh.
And then eventually I'm going to get an accessory which is going to help with that as well.
I thought you missed the first one there, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, I thought I nearly did as well, but it was okay, so it's all good.
The girl!
Yes, the little girl. I think we're going to have to go chase after her. But first, we're going to turn to the left and go and break these suspicious rocks.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, this just has a chest in it, which holds a piece of a weapon. So that's part 2 of Le Patinier's Waltz. I think I butchered the pronunciation of that, but who cares?
Why didn't it solidify into a single LP?
Because there's still another piece missing.
Ah, I see.
Because I think after Called Shedra, which was 2, Durga was in 3, Le Patinier's Waltz is in 3, and then I think, yeah, the next time that you get to a normal chapter, it's in 4 pieces, I think. It might still be 3, I don't know. But yeah, it's in multiple parts. So yeah, you've got to go hunting for those pieces. They just make it harder as you go. Yeah,
I imagine, like, stronger weapons would be in, you know, more multiples, just to kind of... what's the word I'm looking for here? Balance the difficulty? Try and make it so you're not blazing your way through the game?
Yes, but, I mean, without a doubt, the weapon in Chapter 9 is, I would say, the weapon that you're going to want in the game. It's an absolute godsend.
We're talking about, like, Monsoon's staff levels of breaking the gamery?
It can do, yes, because, I mean, it's the... although it's Mistral's staff, not Monsoon's, because he had the size, did he not?
Yes, to be fair, they both start with M, so I got confused.
It's true. But yeah, they are part of the glitch that existed along with Durga, which allowed users to get really, really damn high rankings on their in their combat. I don't think I was ever actually able to effectively pull off that glitch, but it's still pretty much the weapon you're going to want in order to get the high rankings for the most part. And so as soon as I get it, I'm going to be using it throughout the rest of the game.
What do you like?
Well, if it works, it works.
Good birdie. Now go back to hell until we need you.
Exactly. You've had your dinner, now just flock off.
We didn't get to comment on that scene earlier, but I think I actually took a screen cap of it when I was playing through that chapter. I just forgot to put it out to Twitter.
Typical.
Well, I was having fun. Eat me.
Well, I'm sure Bayonetta would if she's so pleased.
Oh, stop bringing it back to Bayo. You gotta live your own life. You can't live vicariously through a fictional witch, okay?
Well, I do not, but it's just kind of... Whenever I play Bayonetta, the slightly sadistic, ultra-sarcastic one in me seems to appear a little bit more.
I guess. Those things are pathetic at this point, by the way.
Yeah, they really are. The deer and decorations are just there to be a little bit of cannon fodder for you.
They're just there to be deer decorations, really.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, this room looks terrifying. I mean, it sort of is, but you can pretty much get through the entire thing. I nearly said without getting hit. I nearly did. I was very frustrated at getting hit because I thought, I'm nearly such an absolute badass. but then, yeah, I got hit at the last minute. Because all it takes is just walking a bit, dodging, and you're fine. But yeah, I think a lot of people look at that room and just go, oh my god, it's terrifying. It's really not.
Fair enough, mate, fair enough. What is that, like, blue blast that emanates from you sometimes?
So that is the using the hold on the electric dagger. So, much like with Scarborough Fair, if you hold it, you shoot. Much like if you hold with Sharaba, you charge up. It's that sort of thing where it explodes a little bit of energy. If you've got Fire Dagger, what it does is it leaves behind a flaming skull, which effectively acts like a bomb.
Ooh, nice. I think I did that from time to time.
Yeah, it's a really helpful manoeuvre that you will probably be seeing at some point. And looky here, there's an Alfheim.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus, take the wheel. Well, this is what replays of levels are for, because I will go through and rank up from stone, don't you worry.
Good, I believe in you. I have to say, this is another Alfheim that's quite challenging, actually, because you've only got so many enemies, and you need to use 5 torture attacks. And for the torture attacks to count, you have to actually kill the enemies.
Right.
So it's a case of you really do have to build up your magic bar as soon as you can. I mean, generally, what you probably want to do is get at least 2 torture attacks off on these first 3 applauds, because that's probably all you're going to get.
Yeah.
Because then you will end up facing some harmonies, and you can pretty much get then another 2 torture attacks in, and then you only have to worry about 1 on sort of your final enemies.
I didn't notice he was grabbing the chainsaw and trying to stop it from, like, burrowing through his body. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, pretty much most of them do try to stop what Bayonetta's doing in some form or another. It doesn't work, of course, because as if that's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, at this point all I need to do is get 1 more torture attack in, and I have won the challenge. But if I recall correctly, it's easier said than done, because I think we're going to get a Grace and a Glory coming up.
Oh, son of a bitch, when will it end?
It will never end, and then eventually we'll end up against Gracious and Glorious, and they're worse.
Oh, yeah, I've heard the rumours. I haven't seen them in action yet. I will probably get to them before our next recording session, so...
You most likely will do, but yes, Gracious and Glorious, spoilers, but they're Grace and Glory, but you can't witch time them.
What?
Yes, they're monsters.
Finish him, mate.
So yes, it's just like, come on, die already. I think I then do have to kill the rest of the angels, but... Yes, I do. But at that point, I don't have to worry so much, because I don't have to try and get any torture attacks in now. I can just murder.
Oh, it's just a fun little game of shooty-tooty, right and pointy. Whatever the fuck that means. Sorry, I kind of had a stroke mid-sentence.
I'm still going to get another torture attack in, because I'm just like, you know what, I want to kill you faster. Because I think I do have another... I think I have a... Is it 2 fairnesses? Something like that, I feel. Oh yes, it's a fairness and a fearless that I have to deal with. So it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to try and kill you now as fast as possible. So they do give you more than enough enemies in order to get that 5 torture attacks in. But the trick is that, you know, you've got to kill the enemy with the torture attack for it to count. And that's the challenging bit, particularly with Grace, Glory, Fearless and Fairness.
Oh, just watching your gameplay makes me want to be a better player of this game.
You see, it's the joy of Bayonetta.
It's the joy of character action games in general, really.
God, yes.
Spin the wheel! Miss a turn!
But yes, there we go, thank God.
That's gotta be like platinum, at the very least. There you go, pure platinum! Oh! didn't take a hit there. Interesting.
You see? Masterful. There are times when my skills are top-notch. There are other times where I'm just like, no, I'm too tired. My hands, they can't cope. Yeah, I think I did end up with like a sort of much thicker skin around my my thumb and fingers playing Bayonetta on the Switch, because it was just like, oh god, I have to touch these buttons a lot more than I remember doing. It's just because it's been a long time, and I think when I first played Bayonetta, it hadn't been quite so long since because I used to play guitar, so I had sort of thicker skin on my fingers and thumbs, so it didn't hurt as much. But then when you're kind of mashing at buttons at the speed at which Bayonetta sometimes requires, yeah, my fingers were a bit too soft to be used to that. I haven't played a game that intense, or this intense, in a while, it feels like.
These weak baby fingers can't even reach the final part of the climax. I know I can't. Really should have phrased that better. Oh my god.
Well, no, I think that issue is that some of the QTEs in the game have been like the torture wheel definitely hasn't been sped up, but that's always been a nightmare to get maxed out on. But a lot of the other climax QTEs, they seem to have shrunk down the time that they last. So you're often going to be just missing that last hit if you're not mashing fast enough. And here's the fight that you were talking about.
This bit! This is where I died over and over.
Now you see, at this point, because I had Bat Within, you see, this is the key. Bat Within is a godsend. Taking down these Grace and Glories is not too bad, because obviously I'd had all the pain and suffering of Chapter 5, and so I was used to them again by this point. So it was just like, right, this is nothing.
Well, I'm learning, I'm watching, I'm listening, I'm not taking notes, but I'll commit it to memory.
But yeah, pretty much also the thing that will help you with Grace and Glory is that if you've got anything like that shockwave attack, that will kind of stun them out of the attack animation that they're about to do, or if you can Wicked Weave them, that will throw them out of their attack animation. And so it's all about sort of breaking them in terms of actually getting things done. And also it's just knowing what moves to get out of the way and the timing, and that bit is challenging, getting the timing down. But once you do realise it, it just becomes a little bit of second nature.
Oh, this is cathartic to watch.
It's cathartic to pull off as well.
I can imagine so, yeah. Alright, let's move on.
This is a bit of a slightly annoying verse because it is possible to, I think miss it. Because you get a whole bunch of enemies, and I think if you go across the bridge, then the verse basically ends.
Huh.
I think. I can't remember. We'll see in a minute. But it is possible to get a relatively decent thing. What I'm trying to do right here is to do that, because if you go too far along this bridge, it's going to break. And basically, I wanted to murder these guys, and I thought I could hit those back at them. I'm pretty sure I can.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't happening for me. And then at the end, I was just like, you know, I'm just going to break the bloody thing.
Well, they died either way. We might not get credit for it, but they're dead.
Yeah. But yeah, you've just got to make sure that you actually stick around here, because then you actually get some applause to take down. And that is how, you know, you do well in this verse.
I thought this was fairly obvious when I did it, but whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is, but what you might have done is see the thing break and then just beast within across the gap, and then you think, oh, I'm sorted. And I think that's what I might have done the first time round.
Oh, my ears deceiving me, or is Moon River playing right now?
Your ears are deceiving you, because what's playing right now is Mysterious Destiny.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, Panther. Haha.
Yeah, so you have got to get across the other side to get to the end of the verse. But obviously, if you don't wait for those applauds, you're going to not get a high rank. And I love this cutscene as well.
It's great.
I mean, just the, what are you boys doing in here? Are you hiding something from me? Just,
Yes.
mwah.
Oh, that was the most egregious ass shot in a while, I think.
Well, yes, but she's flirting, so it's totally fine.
Do these things even have concepts of, like, sentience and whatnot? Do they feel arousal? They are heavenly beings.
Honestly, I don't know, but I don't think Bayonetta cares.
I guess so, yeah.
And that's the entire fun of her character.
Nah, mate.
You've been cheating on me, haven't you?
Oh, you're gonna get a spanking before you get sent to hell. Pistol whip that motherfucker.
Oh dear. Something tells me I'm going to regret this.
So now we're hearing a bit more voice acting from the actual child actress, who I believe was left out of the credits, and that's the reason everyone was left out of the credits.
Well, I don't know whether it was the entire reason that everyone was left out of the credits, because I believe when I asked, Kamiya-san said that it was just that they forgot.
Okay. I love that reason.
I honestly do think that it was a sort of conscious decision of they couldn't credit the child actress because her mum didn't want it to be credited.
Uh-huh.
So, they just left everybody else. That's my assumption and guess. Might not be correct, but that's what I feel probably happened because we've never actually gotten a name for the voice actress for Cereza.
This is very interesting. We actually have to fight in, I guess you could call it purgatorio mode.
So this is an out-of-body battle, as it's called, because you are sort of literally out of your body. And yeah, it's awesome. And I just love this as well because you've got Fly Me to the Moon playing, and whenever Fly Me to the Moon Climax Mix plays in this game, it's because it's during a sort of fun, epic story moment.
Yeah, pivotal moment in the story.
Yeah. So it's, well, apart from maybe one instance, but then it's just fun anyway, so I don't care. But it's always awesome when it does turn up. And you can actually get an achievement from this fight, as long as you make sure that nobody hits your real body.
Okay.
Which is a challenge. It's easier if you've got an accessory called the Gaze of Despair, because then all enemies' eyes are on you. But really, as long as you just kill enemies really quickly, dodge in time and so on and so forth, then they shouldn't really have time to go after your actual body.
Are accessories an expendable thing? Because I've been looking at them, and
No.
okay, because I don't want to like spend all that money just to have it disappear in one shot.
Oh god, no, they would never do that. The accessories are your equipable items, and they are really, really helpful at doing really well in the game. I mean, there's one which I'm going to get, which is called the Star of Dintea. Which, what it does is, if you get hit, you automatically go into Witch Time.
Ooh.
Which is a sort of cheeky way of going about things, but it really does help just give you that little bit of an edge when necessary.
And actually, I was reading through some of the lore and whatnot. It does tell you about other branches of witches besides the Umbrans.
Oh yeah, you get a whole bunch of, like, sort of pseudo-real witch history in those accessory descriptions, and it's really awesome. And I love this cutscene. It's so adorable.
Oh no, you've imprinted yourself on her.
Ew.
Not like that. It's an actual, like, nature thing. Look up a fucking documentary.
Right, but still, love this line. It's amazing.
If there's two things I hate in this world, it's cockroaches and crying babies. Well, a crying baby cockroach would be truly terrible.
I think that's the closest Bayonetta comes to, like, a Dante kind of dorkiness, really.
I mean, potentially, but the really fun thing is that what you begin to see right here is sort of the breaking down of Bayonetta's persona, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because obviously she always portrays this powerful, sexual woman. But then the second this little girl appears, she sort of initially is quite abrupt, but she does soften, and she's just like, okay, well, I'm in control, it's okay. And becomes a little bit more light-hearted than she normally is.
Yeah. It's a nice change of pace, I will say.
It's lovely to see, and it also really helps in terms of actually developing Bayonetta as a character.
Yeah.
Because it shows that she is a bit more multifaceted than she may at first appear.
Come now, little one. I'll help you out of here. But that's...
She's more like a teacher than a mother type in this scene, I will admit. This is very cute.
That was actually ad-libbed in the mocap.
Uh-huh.
Which is hilarious, because I think the mocap actress for Cereza was Stephanie Shea, who people thought actually voiced Cereza for a while, which is ridiculous, because obviously it's quite clearly an actual little girl, but still. And yeah, they just kind of ad-libbed that, and then they kept it in, because obviously it's just such a fun moment.
Not possible in the second game, because obviously Bayonetta cuts her hair short and whatnot, but still.
Well, yeah, and also she doesn't have her ribbons flying down.
Exactly. Ooh, Jesus. Did I just suddenly teleport to England?
Yeah, it certainly feels like it. Although it's been really nice in the UK the past kind of couple of days, which is, it's lovely, because it was miserable earlier on this week.
Yeah, the weather started to pick up just as my mood did.
You see, a bit of pathetic fallacy.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But yes, we get an interesting bit of information here about the Ithaval group and Isla del Sol, which are certainly things that you'll want to keep in mind for where we may or may not be heading eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, I will say, a lot of people I think don't necessarily pay attention to these notes, and I mean, sort of, why would you? You're in an action game. Why would you read? Like, seriously, what sort of person are you? Me. But there's some really fascinating backstory in here, and as I believe I have said, Hideki Kamiya did write each and every one of them. So there's some really fun lore in here, and a few pretty cool Easter eggs as well.
Speaking of, that's an Easter egg in its packaging. I will be devouring it after we're done here.
Nice segue. I've eaten all my Easter eggs.
Well, aren't you quite the one?
Well, I only had 3, so it's not really anything.
Well, I'm on my second, and I'm much heavier than you, so what does that say about you?
It says that I'm probably just slightly lucky.
I like chocolate, okay? Also, I had no idea you could actually kill these guys.
Yes, I mean, it's a sort of... It's an interesting verse, because obviously you realise quite early on that you can't actually hit them regularly, but as soon as you realise that you can pick up bits of the scenery, you then go, oh, okay, I can actually cause some damage here and actually kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really the only way that you're going to get through this decently, but as you can see and will see throughout this particular run of this verse for me, it did not end well.
I think I had a teeny bit of fiddly trouble with it, but nowhere near as bad as like earlier chapters.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like I do horrendously, it's just that I get hit far more than I would say is acceptable during this.
There you go. Keep going, Rich, you've got a child to save.
I do indeed. And I believe that if you end up failing this and the beloved does end up breaking through Cereza's shield, you do get, I don't know if it's a unique game over screen, but I'm pretty sure you do get a game over, so you do have to protect her.
Alright, I think we're done here. Yes, we are.
Yes, we made it through, and that wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't.
And yeah, I like how the beloved's just sort of trapped there, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna just run about, make sure I've got everything, you know, gotten Purgatorio, centre of the Trinity, got the Umbran Tears of Blood that's just over to our left,
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth before I actually continue.
Human world, Inferno, and Paradiso. And Purgatorio in between those, I guess.
Exactly. And I would say it is sort of fascinating thinking of the world in sort of this whole layered idea. I mean, effectively it's where you get things like the Upside Down in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
When you start layering worlds on top of each other and thinking how they would look and appear in different realities, you'd always get some very interesting stories coming out of there.
Enjoying the reading, viewer.
Well, it's giving you a little bit of time to just relax, to chill, to enjoy yourself before we go into some quite fun fights.
Oh, yes.
Just amping up the anticipation, shall we say.
Are you ever going to get it first try, Richie?
No, I'm not. Because, well, actually, no, there might be one or two that I get first try, but certainly not this one.
Really?
I'm sorry, it's difficult to get out of Panther Within and then grab the bloody thing.
I keep thinking of Warrior Within for Prince of Persia.
Yeah, to be fair, I sort of go there as well. Something else whilst we're here that you may not have realised but is actually a thing is that Cereza actually teleports.
Huh.
So if you keep running, obviously she won't get in your way, but if you turn around, she will always kind of quickly follow after you. So if you off-screen her and then kind of flip back around, she'll have disappeared and then come running up behind you.
Interesting. What does that say about her, I guess?
I don't know, but I also really love the cutscene we're about to get because it's also just an absolute delight.
Well, I mean, it's the innocence of a child viewing Paradiso.
No, that's not what I was talking about.
Ah, okay.
This is probably how you got lost to begin with.
Well, not going back through there.
Definitely not, and oh dear.
Don't worry, it's always scary the first time you see them.
Interesting.
So, where was I? Oh, yes. Your kind invitation. I do hope you've prepared dessert as well.
I would care for some tea cakes, and by that I mean kicking your ass!
And as Bayonetta is about to say, oh, what a lovely tea party and dancing too! Which I believe is actually a sort of subtle reference to a film that I can't remember the name of.
I wonder how much of this is Bayonetta just doing like her usual witchy job, and how much of it is trying to show off for Cereza.
I think it's a mixture of the two.
See, she's grown to like the bro.
I mean, they've only been together for about 5 minutes, but even then, I think you can sort of see a little bit of somewhat motherly tendencies arising in her.
And it's not done in a patronising way either, it's just done in an affectionate way.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's just, it's really lovely to see, because, as I said, it just shatters that initial perception that you may have of Bayo as just this sort of cold, unfeeling super bitch.
This individual, this solo character who doesn't really have any, like, companions to chat with and whatnot, she's just on her own adventure, but even, like, Luca, I guess, will slowly become more and more friendly towards her, or at least neutral.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, Bayonetta can be an absolute cowbag, but she's just pretty glorious, and you kind of can't help but like her spunk.
Where are these, like, meteors coming from? Because I know they called me on the up.
I don't know. I think the Beloved's calling them down.
Okay.
And yeah, this is super creepy.
It's the baby face that does it.
It's the baby face, because it falls in love with little Cereza. Oh, it's creepy.
Well, is it love or is it just like, oh, that's a cute puppy?
Maybe it's infatuation, I don't know.
Fuck, it's Twilight all over again. Fucking Wolfman getting the hots for a toddler. Kiss my ass.
Just ill.
Yeah. Alright. Kick its ass in Twilight's name, mate.
Of course I'm going to kick its ass. What did you expect? It brought bloody meteors down on me. I'm getting my revenge.
Said something there in Angelese, but I was too busy kicking its ass to care.
Yeah, I don't think I quite grasped what he said, but I don't really care. It's alright. It was all mumbled amongst the bullets of me murdering him. I wish I'd gotten a few more witch-timey hits on him, but oh well, I don't really care at this point.
I don't think the claws are a great weapon to use against this angel in particular. I know I had a bit of a trouble.
Yeah, whenever you're facing down a beloved, guns in general are pretty much the way forward.
We'll definitely have to organise my sets more efficiently, because I think it's a bit of a hodgepodge right now. I didn't take much care with setting it up.
Yeah, but once you know these things, you can definitely learn from them.
There you go. Going back where you belong. Hell.
Exactly, you creepy, disgusting angel.
You damaged right. It was the damage that let you down.
Yeah, if I hadn't got hit by those bloody meteors, I'd be fine.
Oh, hello.
Plot twist.
It was the wrong all along!
Yes, now, if you don't get down to the end of this corridor quickly enough, then, yeah, you get a special secret game over screen.
Interesting. I'll have to look that up on YouTube after we're done. This was a bit of a pig for me, who's not very efficient with using the panther form.
Yeah, you've got to dodge. But basically, what ends up happening is Angel Bayonetta ends up escaping through the ceiling and taking Cereza with her, leaving only her Cheshire kitty on the ground.
Cheshire, you say?
Yes.
Alright. I'm gonna need to see the receipts, I'm gonna need to see your passport, because this, my friend, is a case of identity theft.
Yes, indeed, and quite clearly, this impostor is not as good looking as our Bayonetta. Clearly.
Can't dance as well either. This bitch thinks she's hot, but no, I'm the one with the moves. I love how it's just a fucking dance-off to prove who's the real one.
Oh, I know, it's insane. Yes, I have to say, Bayonetta, Shanstay, you stay.
Yeah.
False Bayonetta, sashay away.
Alright, we got a bit of another rival fight on our hands here. All is not as it seems, though. This is just round one of this fight.
Yes, because of course it's just round one, because how can you fight an Angel Bayonetta and it be alright?
Oh, I just love, like, enemies who have the same skill set and moves as you. It's just so satisfying. Because it's basically the game testing you against yourself.
Exactly, and also, oh, joy. Oh, with the glowing crotch and everything.
Basically, orgasm into existence. Alright, take it away, mate. How does Joy operate?
So, Joy is effectively sort of your regular mook version of your Jeanne fights, except she has a few kind of extra different moves in that she's got this kind of whip that she uses, and so on and so forth. She also has one of, well, probably my favourite torture attack in the game, which is just deadly awesome.
I find them fairly easy to fight, but they're very fun as well. That's a big thing that I need in like character action games. Like, they need to be fun to fight with the enemies. When it's just like Grace and Glory, they're a little bit annoying, and that's never fun.
Also, the wooden horse.
Jeez.
Yes, you get Joy to basically orgasm to death. It's beautiful.
Oh, whatever floats your boat, mate.
I remember there was, I think, a bit of a hoo-ha over that particular torture attack, and it's just like, but it's so good.
Yeah, right. You see the rest of the game? That's what you're getting up in arms about? Christ.
Exactly.
Alright, let's have a look at Alfheim. This I know a little bit about, but I'll need a refresher.
Yeah, so this is basically where you learn actually what the Alfheims are. In that they are sort of the banquet halls of the angels. So that's why whenever we go to an Alfheim, there are all these angels present, because it's their sort of gathering place.
Yeah.
And also you get a bit of information about the Porta del Paradiso, which are the massive circular gates that we went through and will then exit through.
So why are these on the Earth at all? Why would, like, any mortal need those gates?
So the Porta del Paradiso don't actually work for regular humans, but they are there because the people who worshipped the angels, so the Laguna, as the religion is called, thought that they acted as portals to paradise and so constructed them for that sort of purpose. And this is a cheeky little chest. It's just like, don't you dare think hiding behind a portal is going to get you out of my sights.
It's a good job I had a once-over before I stepped through.
Yeah. But yes, thankfully, no more fighting, thank God. We are basically at the end of the chapter now. We just get one more book and a little bit of a cutscene, and then we're heading into a boss fight chapter.
Ooh, it's just the boss and nothing more.
Well, they're still very exciting.
I know, but I died a few times, so I'm butthurt.
It's quite interesting, actually, reading about Prominence Bridge, and it does kind of make you just go, why construct such a massive, long bridge? I mean, for starters, a massive, long suspension bridge is always slightly terrifying to witness.
Yeah.
But then also, just, why would you create a bridge that long? Just use a boat or a plane.
Well, just to borrow some of your idioms, they want the dick of their people to be known. Look at my bridge dick, look at it!
Don't think that's an idiom I use. I'm slightly offended that you think I would use an idiom like that.
No, that was the whale! That's one of yours.
That is one of mine.
It's just showing off is what I was trying to say.
True, and oh, Bayonetta. Oh, getting a little bit fruity.
Whoa, you're getting the wrong idea. I mean, it might be the...
I don't want to fuck now, fuck later. Like, I'll put it in my diary, fuck later.
The thing is that you can see Bayonetta thinking, maybe later.
I'm down for that, who cares?
Yeah, a little bit of fun, why not?
The only way to reach the upper crust, and they're...
I mean, at this point, it's either Rodan or Enzo, so Luca's a step up, really.
Like, Rodan is just all business, and Enzo... Isn't he married?
Yes, he's married with kids, so, I mean, that one's already just off the cards.
He just seems to respect Bayonetta, honestly, does Enzo. He doesn't really seem to have any attraction to her, which I find kind of interesting for a typical slovenly character.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's quite nice in the sense of really none of the male characters in the game have a sort of major attraction to Bayonetta. I mean, obviously you've got Luca, who you can see does have a little bit of sexual tension with her, but their relationship is much more complicated than that.
It's mostly just Bayo teasing him, really.
Well, yeah, pretty much. She's the one who sort of puts in the sexual tension. He's mostly just going, you killed my father, and I'm going to prove that you did it. And so, really, from his side, apart from the few moments where she gets a little bit too close for comfort, he's not really feeling the sex right now. She's more so.
Oh, Bayo, why you gotta be so hot and hype? You reckon we'll see a bit of Bayo 3 at E3 this year, mate?
We better do.
Nice line read, kid.
Come on, she's a child.
I felt really shitty the instant it left my mouth. Come on, Tom, you're better than that.
Quite right. Now, for recompense, I'm going to make you talk for the entirety of the Angel Attack for this chapter, so enjoy!
Alright, well, hello, welcome to my Bayonetta playthrough. As you can see, I've just gotten the Platinum Award. That was all me. No one else was involved in this. No, you're not here. You don't get to take credit for this now. And we're going to go into the Angel Attack, which is a bit of a mini-game. Camille loves his mini-games. And, yeah, I'm just going to get loads of Halos here, because I'm the best Bayonetta player. Don't ever tell me what to do in my own fucking playthrough again. Oh, but we have fun here.
He says as he nearly starts to choke on a laugh.
Well, you know, drink something, you crazy sucker. Alright guys, we're done here. Please join us next time, which will probably be the last Bayonetta part of this week, when we fight a big old boss. It's gonna be hype. See you then.